Hello everyone, Curious Corduroy here, and before we get to our news stories for the day, we do have some breaking news from Sony, and that's next week on June 2nd. That's a Thursday. They will be doing a 30-minute state of play presentation that will focus primarily on third-party titles as well as PlayStation VR 2 titles. Now, what do I expect to see there? I really don't know, but I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan, and I'm really hoping to see something from Final Fantasy VII Remake there, but as nice as it would be, I don't think we're going to see anything at this state of play for that game. I think if we see anything in regards to Remake Part 2, it's going to be directly from Square themselves, I think during maybe a live stream or some sort of digital event. Next month is when we're supposed to get news in regards to Remake Part 2 that was given to us directly from Tetsuya Nomura, so I expect some sort of celebration next month. It's the 35th anniversary of Final Fantasy as a whole and the 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy VII. So unfortunately, I don't think 7 will be at this state of play. However, I do think we might see something from Final Fantasy 16. Seemingly that game is a console exclusive to Sony now. I'm sure they paid a ridiculous amount of money to Square to keep those mainline Final Fantasy games exclusive to their console. And as far as we know, the game is nearing completion and it might be in a state where they're ready to show it off again. So I would not be shocked if 16 does make an appearance at this state of play, but either way, I'll be checking it out and I'll let you guys know what I think. So in our first story, this is an update to a story that broke earlier this week that I covered in regards to some of the controversy surrounding the PS Plus launch in Asia. And that has to do with Sony penalizing players who took advantage of stacking their subscriptions to PlayStation Plus. So what essentially they were doing was asking those players who stacked to pay a prorated amount, basically saying pay the difference for your subscription for what you owe us. So if you got it for half off, we're gonna need that other half from you if you want to upgrade, that kind of situation. And you know, that did upset a lot of people. There was a ton of backlash. However, Sony did come out on their Twitter account for Ask PlayStation with a statement saying, due to a technical error, players in Asia who have previously purchased a PlayStation Plus membership at a discount have been incorrectly charged for their upgrade pricing. This error has been fixed and impacted players will receive a credit. We thank you for your patience. So a lot of people are wondering, is this a response to backlash or was this a genuine error? I think it was a genuine error. Sony can be pretty stubborn, and I don't really see them, reacting to backlash or fan outcry all that often. So the fact that there was such a quick turnaround on this correction really does make me think it was an error, and hopefully all of that's straightened out now, and when the service launches here in America and other territories, hopefully that won't be an issue anymore. In our second story, it looks like 2 games have leaked for the PlayStation 1 Classic catalog, the first one being Resistance Retribution, which was a PSP title, and the second being Dino Crisis. So Resistance was rated in Korea for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, so that's seemingly going to be releasing sometime this year on that platform. As far as Dino Crisis go, there was a leaked screenshot showing the PlayStation Classics catalog thumbnail on the PlayStation 5 user interface, showing a photo of Regina from Dino Crisis. So seemingly that means perhaps Dino Crisis 1 and 2 could resurface on this PlayStation 1 catalog for this service, which is really exciting. I really hope we get the return of Regina. I'm hoping they put both Dino Crisis games on there. I'd love to revisit the first one, and I'd love to actually play the second one. I remember playing the second one as a kid and renting it from our local video store, but the disc was so scratched up that I could not progress past the first screen of the game because it just kept freezing. So this is awesome. It shows that Capcom is interested in this service, so hopefully that means we can get other Capcom classics on this service as well. Maybe we get some Mega Man Legends in there, some OG Resident Evil, who knows? And secondly, this also shows that Capcom has not completely forgotten about Dino Crisis. So maybe if enough of us play it on this service, that'll show Capcom, hey, there's an interest there. Maybe we should revisit the series somewhere down the line in a remake format. So here's hoping sometime this year we get Dino Crisis. That has not been rated yet, so it should be coming eventually, but whenever we get that game rated for the PS4 and PS5, that should be confirmation that it is in fact coming. And for our last story, Chinese TV manufacturer TCL kind of raised some eyebrows this past week during one of their press conferences talking about a PS5 Pro and a new iteration of the Xbox Series S and X coming next year. During that presentation, there was a slideshow where they had previous console generations that they talked about, and in 2023, they had those two consoles listed, saying that both consoles were capable of outputting at 8K from 60 to 100 frames per second with no struggles at all. Now, obviously all of this is just guesstimation work on TCL's part. I think they're just looking back at how previous console generations were scheduled and structured, and usually a few years after a console came out, the Pro version came out. But we're in a really different time right now, and that chip shortage is going to exist well into 2024, unfortunately. It's not just an issue with the chips. The machines that manufacture these chips are in low supply as well. So I definitely do not see these Pro versions of these consoles hitting next year. At the earliest, maybe we'll get a refresh in 2025 or 2026 when the chip shortage has calmed down and we're much further into the lifespan of these consoles. So that's the video, guys. I'm Curious Corduroy. Please leave any thoughts down below in the comments about any of the news stories we talked about today. Are you excited for Dino Crisis to come back? Because I certainly am. So I will see you guys in the next video. Please remember to always be excellent to one another.